Hey everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of my driver deep dive series. So you ask and I deliver. So the last time we had Lewis and Max together on a video, and this time I was asked to do a video about Kimi Raikkonen, given that he will be retiring from Formula 1 at the end of the season, which means he's got just 2 races left in his Formula 1 career. And then I put a poll up on Instagram to see if folks would be interested in me pairing up a video on Kimi and Sebastian Vettel, and guess what? People were into it. Kimi Raikkonen, let's talk about it. So he's been on the grid since 2001. And let me tell you, that is with the exception of just 2 years when he wasn't on the grid. So we're talking a total of 18 years of a career here, and that equals more than 350 race starts, and that is actually the record for most ever in the history of the sport. So he's been around for a long time, he knows what he's doing, and over the years he was given the moniker the Iceman. And this is primarily for anyone that doesn't know, because Kimi is not the biggest fan of the media. He usually shows up in a cap and shades. He does not love press days, things like that. He wants to do his job, get in and get out, understand it. There are always drivers like that on the grid. And I think he's not really kind of gone along with the more modern kind of higher levels of expectation around media as that has developed since he would have started way back in the early 2000s, and that's fair enough. But actually what might surprise you, you would probably think a guy like this, you know, he's not into doing interviews with, you know, with media and things like that. Odds are he probably doesn't even have an Instagram, is not interested in social media whatsoever. But that is where you would be wrong, because if you check out Kimi Raikkonen on Instagram, and I will put the link in the description to his page, you'll actually see that he's really sweet. His last post was actually from his retirement party, which was thrown, of course, by Alfa Romeo, and he put a really sweet caption on there, and he's actually smiling in the first photo. Kimi Raikkonen does indeed smile. And he also posts a lot about his family, so his wife Mintu and kids, he posts about them a ton on his Instagram, which is also really sweet to see. And pretty much that and race related content is what you're going to see from Kimi on social media, on Instagram in particular. He does also have a couple of brand partnerships, one of them with a digital security company, which is interesting. So he has appeared in ads for them. And another one that you may not know about is West Coast Choppers. And again, you may think like, oh, merch is kind of a, you know, a big thing for drivers nowadays, like Kimi's probably not into that. Again, wrong. Kimi has his own merch line with West Coast Choppers, and there's actually some really cool pieces on there. So again, I'll put the link to that in the description below. And also, another thing that you'll see him posting about is sort of like random things that he does to stay active, get out into the outdoors when he's not racing and also in between races. So he's been up to jet skiing, skiing on the mountain slopes, and also trampolining and dirt biking. So all of these things were new things that I learned about Kimi as researched for this video, so I'm sure they're new to most of you as well, and definitely a really interesting guy. Now, Sebastian Vettel may kind of come off as one of the old men on the grid, but believe it or not, he's actually 2 years younger than Lewis Hamilton. So it's just interesting to see the different driver personas and how they come across in the media and to fans of the sport. He has been around since 2006 and has obviously won 4 World Driver Championships. So again, similar to Kimi, knows what he's doing, has been through it all, and yeah, it's probably nothing he really hasn't seen as far as fan interaction and interviews and things like that at this point. He is very similar, I would have said, in his early days to Kimi, in that he was kind of standoffish and not like the friendliest person. And I think really what's happened over the years is that he's mellowed massively, and I think in a way it sort of came from after he moved out of Red Bull, where he had his success of winning 4 world championships in a row. I think coming down from that high obviously must have been pretty difficult for him, having achieved all of that success, but I think really the positive effect that it had in terms of how he deals with fans, media, just kind of his attitude to the sport in general, seems to be that he mellowed a lot. And previously I found it quite hard to warm to him in his early days, but now I actually think he's pretty funny, and he'll often come up with like these deadpan answers that are really funny and just these kind of hilarious one-liners in interviews. So he has definitely improved on that over the years, and it's understandable that at the beginning he was entirely focused on winning and that was his main interest in the sport. He, unlike Kimi, is very, very private about his personal life, and he does not post anything about it really on his social media, so you won't see any of that. What you will see Sebastian posting about is obviously racing. So same as all the drivers, a lot of the content on their social media is going to be race related, training related, all the bits and pieces that go into getting them to the track at the weekend. But what you will also see him posting about quite frequently, which is really, really nice to see, is his activism. So Sebastian has spoken out publicly in favour of movements like Black Lives Matter and the LGBT community as well. He has been a supporter of Pride through his work with Aston Martin in particular this year, and he just seems like a great guy with really great morals when it comes to his activism, and you know, not being afraid to kind of be very public with the campaigns that he is supporting and the communities that he's supporting, which is great because I don't think we see enough of that, and I think it's also a bit of a blocker in getting some people, additional people, into the sport that would make it a better place. As far as sports besides Formula 1 goes, like many of the other drivers, Sebastian is a football fan. You will see a lot of the drivers being soccer fans of some description, whether they're really into it or maybe they just show up sometimes in the VIP box for matches. But Seb is actually a pretty big fan of Eintracht Frankfurt Football Club. Had to look at my notes so I didn't get that pronunciation wrong. Apologies if I still did, please tell me in the comments. But he's also a supporter of Juventus, and he actually played alongside Cristiano Ronaldo in a Juventus celebrity football match back in 2019, which was pretty cool. Thanks so much as always for tuning into my driver deep dive series. You can check out the previous videos in the series by going to the playlist on my channel, and as I said at the top, I always do the videos that are requested for this one, so please do leave a comment down below of who you would like to see in the next episode, and until then I will chat to you all soon.